Howdy! How's all my peeps out there in YouTube land today? Time to get to crafting. I did some shopping on Thanksgiving Day on the internet. Now, I know there's a lot of people that think that you shouldn't be doing no shopping on Thanksgiving, that it's a time to spend with family and friends. Well, you know, there's people that don't have folks to spend Thanksgiving with. I'm one of them. I'm the last of the family. It's just me. So when it comes to a holiday, to me, it's pretty much just another day of the week. And I feel it the way I feel all my days. I do some crafting. Maybe I do some shopping online. Maybe I do some housework. Maybe I cook some victuals. You know, who knows what I'm liable to be doing. And Thanksgiving Day, there's a lot of good sales out there. A lot of nice things to be had. So I did a little bit of shopping. And found this one lady online that does a lot of crafts, and she's got her own little craft store online and sells some different things than what I've been used to working with. So I put an order in with her and got some stuff from her. And one of the things that I got was this Pebeo Prisme Paint, fantasy paint. I've never worked with this before. Brandy said that she'd worked with it and she liked it real well. So I thought, well, I'd give this a shot. Now, the lady I bought this stuff from, if you want to stop by and see her, it's miriamjoy.com is the name of her website. That's miriamjoy.com. And she's got a lot of cool stuff over there on her website. Excuse me. I've had a little frog in my throat the last couple of days here. I swallowed wrong the other night, and I irritated my throat when I went to coughing and carried on, and it ain't right yet. Let me get a little sip here of my drink. There we go. Wet my whistle a little bit. Try not to choke myself to death like I did the other night. But getting back to this paint, this is the wildest paint that I have ever seen in my life. There are 6 colors in this box. Now, they make all different kinds. There's one that's called Moon, and there's one set that, see, there's the Fantasy, the Moon. There's a couple other ones. I can't remember the names of them, but you can get online and check them out and see what all they are. This one is the Fantasy line. There's 6 colors in this. There's a red color, a purple color, a green color, a white, I guess this is supposed to be kind of a black looking color. I think what they call this on here? Onyx. Yeah, they call this onyx. It looks like a gray to me, like a pewter. And then there's a gold color. And when you open this stuff up, now this is an oil-based paint, they say. And when you open it up, you got to stir the bejeebers out of it. This is a thick, thick, thick paint. And this paint makes its own cells. So those of you that are in the acrylic pouring realm, you will get a kick out of this. And you can use this with your acrylic paints as well. You know, you put down some acrylic paint, you put this on top of it. You know, there's different ways that you can use it. You can put this down and put the acrylic on top of it. But today I'm just going to be using this Prism paint here without using any acrylics or anything with it. And what I intend to do is I'm going to put some in these bezels. I've got some bezels here. And then once it's dry, now we won't be doing this part today because it takes, you know, depending on how thick you get the paint in there, it can take up to 72 hours for it to dry, they say. And then once it's dry, I will be putting the bezel on top of it and gluing that in. So it, you know, it'll reflect it back up off of there. But I thought this was really cool paint to mess with. And when you mix this up, each one of them has to have their own craft stick because you don't want to contaminate your paints. And when you put it on, you really don't want to use a brush with it. You just want to drizzle it on. So I'm going to get a little bit on my craft stick, and I'm just going to kind of drizzle a little bit of it in there. And I'm just going to do one bezel at a time with this. Let's see, we got that in there. Now I'm going to just let that run over some. I don't want it real thick in there because we're going to be putting that cabochon on it. And let it run this way some. Try to keep it under the camera so you can see it. And as I put other colors in there with it, it's going to change. It kind of morphs. So we got the gray. Now let's go in with a little bit of this red. Wipe my stick off just a little bit so it don't get all over my desk. Just drizzle a little of that in there. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of gold. And that. And I still ended up getting it on my mat, so let me wipe that up. All right, now just kind of let that shift around in there a little bit. Now I'm going to mix that just a tiny bit in the bezel, just to put a little bit of a design to it and make it a little more interesting than just 3 globs of paint. Throw it in the bezel. Kind of bring a little bit of that dark up to the top of it. Now, since these don't sit real flat because of the bezel on the top of it, I'm going to need to shim that up a little bit. And I've got a wood round here I think that'd be just perfect size to put underneath the edge of that to let that start sitting up. You see that? And it's going to start to sell. Let's get this camera down on it a little bit. I don't know that that's focusing. Focus. Come on. Focus, focus. We want some focus. I don't know that that's focusing any too great either. Maybe if I move the light a little bit, that'll help. Not really. Maybe a little. Sit it back down here. Okay, well, we'll go work on another one here. Let's do a little bit of white. And let's do a little bit of green. These are the prettiest colors. They're kind of a pearly looking color. And I'll be dogged if I didn't get that on the desk too. Wipe that back into the jar some over here. Like I say, if you ain't making a mess, you ain't crafting. I can make a mess faster than anything you ever seen in your life. Okay, got that cleaned up. Now, I think I want to come in with a little of this dark color, this what they're calling black or onyx, on top of that. And let's move that all around there in the cabochon. Probably help if I get it under the camera so you can see it. What kind of disappeared? So what we're going to do, we'll take the little palette knife, maybe move that around a little bit, see what we end up with. You know, what just got swallowed up? But the pewter and the green look pretty good. Wipe my knife off again. And let's see, I need something to make that pop just a little bit more. Let's try some of this purple. Just a little dab of that in there. Gonna make a little flower design in that one. I wish that camera was focusing a little bit better. I don't know how to cover it up and then let it come back. Maybe it'll focus some better. I don't know if that's any better, at least not on my screen, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, we're going to get another wood brand up here for these other two. And we'll move that one aside and we'll put these two up here on it. Now, let's see. Let's try a little of this gold. See, this stuff will last a long time because it just takes a dab. Put a little dab of that white in there. Oops. Little dab of the green. Come around with a little bit of that black color, dark color around the sides of it. Then I'm going to take my scrapey tool here. Just kind of push it out toward the edges a little bit. Maybe just let it slide over there. Fill it in. Same thing down there at that end. Close in that gap. There we go. Now I'm going to put just a dab of that red in the center. Just like that. Wipe off this end of the tool so I don't end up with that dried on there. Then we're going to pull it out here a little bit. And then we'll pull it in just a little bit. That looks a little bit like a poinsettia. And I've got one more to do. In the bottom of that one, I'm going to come in with the gold. Put a little of that there in the center. And then I think with the gold, I want to go with the green. And maybe a little of this white up on the top of it. Yeah, when you stir this stuff in the beginning, you got to stir it. You can't just depend on shaking the bottle because the stuff that makes it sell, apparently, is in the very bottom of the jar. And when you go to stirring it, you'll feel it. It's real gloopy in the bottom, and you got to stir that all in real good, or you're not going to get any cells, you will not get the results that you are looking for with this. So make sure you stir the bejeebers out of it. That's pretty right there. Now, let's go back and start looking at some of these other ones that we did. See if I can get it up here so that you can see the cells that are forming on these. Get this under the camera. This is the coolest thing because as it sets up, it starts to develop the cells. And it just doesn't seem to be focusing good enough to really show it off the way it is. But it cells up and is really, really pretty. That's the first one that we did. Here's the second one that we did. This is the third one that I said looks kind of like a poinsettia when I poured it. And then this fourth one hasn't developed the cells yet. It's going to take a few more minutes. It's starting to develop, but they're not on there yet. But you can just sit and watch that stuff morph into the design with the little cells. And it's really pretty, really cool to watch. So that's how this Prisma paint works. And I mean, you can use this on all kinds of surfaces. You can use it on canvas. You can use it on wood. You can use it on gourds. You can use it on fabric. I mean, you know, you name it, you can use it. Right here, I'm using metal bezels. There's all kinds of cool stuff that you can do with this. So I will be using this quite a bit in the future. I think this is really a neat little product. And I wanted to talk to you about this and show you some of the things that can be done with it here in the jewelry. Get them up there under the camera again so that you see them before it goes off. But maybe that's focusing a little bit better. You can see the cells on this one pretty good, and on that one, and this one hasn't come up yet, but it will. And I think they're looking up pretty nice. They're going to make some really interesting pieces of jewelry. So with that, we'll shut this down and I'll go on to another project. So remember, Brenda's crafty. Be like Brenda. Don't forget to thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to leave me a comment. Bye.